Okay, behind me we've got the new Supra Project. It's another build that's going to involve a lot of installation and fabrication. So I'll go through the parts list, give you a quick rundown, show you the engine bay, and we'll go from there. Hopefully this will turn out as nice as the RX-7. It's a similar build, it's actually the same owner. So yeah, I'll back up now and show you what we've got going.
Ovation. I love it.
Alright, we're back with the Supra. This is the first video for the new year. Happy New Year to everybody. I had originally intended to do this video and this build coverage somewhat differently. It was gonna be more formatted or whatnot, but as we got into the build more and more things kept popping up, so it kind of got out of order. So what I'm gonna do now is kind of go show you this car's gone from do a few fab parts and a few installs to redo the whole engine bay for the most part, fixing a lot of things that aren't up to par, on the Supra. So hopefully we'll get everything tackled, get the bay looking how the owner wants it to look, and get it performing how it should perform. So what I'm going to do today is actually go in. This car had a bunch of hoses that really didn't need to be there. They weren't the type of hose they should have been as far as material, and they aren't cosmetically or aesthetically pleasing. So I'm going to go in and fix that for them today, starting by pulling some of the stuff off, and I'm going to show you why I'm pulling them off and how to replace them properly as far as oil and water cooling. Again, that's something I just talked about on a video not too long ago, but this car has oil and water hoses that need to be replaced, so I'll show you up close why I'm replacing them and what I'm going to replace them with. Now the first hose I want to get off is this oil drain. This particular hose is just heater hose. You can see how soft it is. An oil drain shouldn't be that soft, and how it just rotates like that. There's nothing wrong with doing a rubber or push lock style 5/8 drain hose, but it has to be made out of the right material. So let me get this off and I'll show you the 400 series hose and the fire sleeve that I'm going to put on it. Well, here's an example of the more I dig, the more I find on this car. I've got the oil drain off and I saw they didn't replace the twin turbo flange on the block. So this fitting is 3/4, whereas the oil drain is 5/8. And since it was a twin turbo car to start with, they just stuck a bolt or whatever that is in one side, and you can see how the oil sweats through these heater hoses. So yeah, now I really can't replace the line right now because I don't stock this particular flange. So I'll order it Monday and get it put back on, and then assemble the drain and do the heat sleeve and all that. So I'll just set that to the side now. This is the hose that came off, and you can see it was stretched out on the 3/4 side and 5/8 on this side. This hose shouldn't even be this soft. But I'll set that to the side and move on to the water lines. Okay, onto the water lines. You can see this is also a similar style heater hose with like a steel braided sleeve over it. I'm going to pull these off because these should be at an angle coming off that cartridge to give you better clearance. You can see how it's kind of in a bind now, that big long loop towards rubbing the back of the compressor housing. If I take this out and put a 90-degree fitting coming up, it'll be a much cleaner fit. Same for the other side. As it's coming out and rubbing against the strut tower, if they would have took a 90 and ran it down and around to the front, it would have cleared the compressor housing and the strut tower better. So I'm going to pull these off. They should be 3/8. Judging by some of the other stuff done, I'm doubting this the right size, but I'm going to pull them off and see. And if it's 3/8, I can go ahead and build new lines and get that install done right. Okay, this car has decided to fight me every step of the way, but it's all good. These are the fittings in the turbo, which as soon as I clamped on it to try to twist and break the seal of the hose snapped off. But this is a 16 millimeter to a 3/8 straight barb fitting. I'm going to replace that with a 16 millimeter to 6AN, and then our 6AN to 3/8 push lock hose. That way it'll keep the heat right off the end of that hose and allow me to swivel and get the right angle I want out the turbo. And I'll do that on both sides because all these hoses broke coming off. And I'm also going to replace this third hose, which they had it running to the back of the block, to get rid of this steel braided cheap hose. I mean, it's the best I can call it. So yeah, I'll get this ready to put back on. I'll cut and fit it. I'm going to use our 3/8 hose that we use for push lock. This hose is much better. This is what we use on all the waterline kits if I'm using a push lock style. It's going to be more resistant. I'm putting the fire sleeve on it so that this hose runs back by the firewall, so it's going to cross over near the downpipe, and this will help keep the heat off the hose and keep you from having melting and breaking problems. So I'll go ahead and get these fit up, stuck back on, and I'll show you the result on the car. Okay, I've got the new lines all assembled and ran. You can see the heat sleeving on them where it's near the hot parts. I am putting a turbo blanket back on this to help keep heat off that line. But yeah, it's all nice and neat now, run properly, no kinks, no cheap hose, and looking much better. I also did the line going back to the firewall, which is at the bottom. You can see it traced back, and it's heat sleeved back where it crosses over the downpipe. Next will be to get rid of these other steel braided looking hoses, and also be getting rid of all the blue vacuum line. But as for today, finish the water lines. I'm going to order a drain flange for the block, and then I'll get the correct oil drain hose on it with a matching fire sleeve, and all the coolant oil at that point will be good to go. Okay, and that is it today for the Supra. Like I said, I've got a lot going on with the car. We've got a lot to install. We've already done several installs on the car, which I'll go back and show you those as well. But if there's something you want to see on the 2J platform, let me know. I'll get it added, and I'll cover some other stuff on this car in the next video. After the lines, I'll show you what we've already installed, and I'll also start working on the charge pipe and intercooler setup that I'm going to do on the car. So yeah, thanks for checking it out, and I'll see y'all again next time.